Today we're talking about virtual classrooms, and I'm going to give you the #1 tip on how to run your own stress-free virtual classroom session. So before you embark on your first venture with a virtual classroom, I wanted to share some of the experience that I've had in the virtual classroom and running them so that you don't stumble upon the same problems. And I wanted to say this because I don't necessarily want to scare you, but I want to make you aware of some of these things. Like, even if you have sound instructional design methods and your virtual classroom is really makes sense, it's a good fit in there, and even if you have all the checklists set up and they're beside your computer knowing which buttons you're going to push, or like a lot of people, let's say you're somebody who's already been teaching and doing facilitation for live classrooms for years, let me tell you that the minute you step into that virtual classroom or sit in front of that computer, things are going to change. There's a lot more different kinds of technological demands placed on you, so you can't go into the same kind of almost an autoplay as if you're in front of a live audience. You now have to be way more active and way more knowledgeable about the things that are going on in your classroom because people aren't in front of you. You can't see them. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to overcome that. One of my pet peeves that I want to address is the word classroom and how it's been integrated into the phrase virtual classroom, and a lot of people who have taught in traditional classrooms feel that this means that they can do exactly the same in a virtual classroom as they did in the live one, which is completely wrong because of all the other factors that fall into you running a really good virtual session. So what I suggest for you to get started is for you to watch other sessions as a student. And unfortunately, one of the things that you learn from these sessions is what not to do. And that's fine. Just make sure that you take note of these things and make sure that you address them in your own sessions. And also, what it is like to be a student in those sessions. How do you feel when you don't have the ability to chat with other people? How do you feel when you are given power to the whiteboard and get to draw? And so also, how do those transitions feel to you as a student? Are they slow or fast? Do you feel hurried? And based on my experience and based on the sessions that I've also attended, I've developed roadmap visuals that I think are essential to you running your own successful virtual session. So I'm going to talk about these roadmap visuals, and I want you to think of them as basically markers that are going to be peppered in between the user-generated content in your session. The content should not all be coming from you. If it is, then you should have recorded it and had people watch it beforehand so that when they come to your session, they're collaborating. And basically what you're doing is you're using their content to run your session. I mean, you've anticipated some of the things they're going to come up with, but hopefully they'll also surprise you. But these visuals are just there as markers to help guide you along the way and structure your session so that everybody knows what's going on and feels confident that you are, in fact, competent in running it. Okay, so the first one, and I know some of these might look like, duh, Anna, of course I'm going to have this slide, but you'd be surprised how many sessions I've attended that are missing these, and this is sad because they're very important as far as I'm concerned. So the first one is the welcome slide. The welcome slide lets learners know that they're in the right session and what to do while they're waiting. So set up your mic, set up your camera, say hi in chat. Agenda. I'm not talking about 15 points here. I'm talking about 4 points, what you're going to talk about and where that bathroom break is going to be so that people know that it's coming up and they don't have to stress out about not, missing the most important point while they're on their bio break. Directions. Important. If people miss their audio, then they have something to turn back to, or they need to read it again, or somebody comes in late and they need to, catch up. You have now directions you can refer them to, so you're not repeating yourself. Questions. If you want to have full participation, then you need to find out if your learners are digesting the content you're giving them. So have questions prepared and write them out, because people need to think about things, and if they're going to give you feedback, you want it done very intermittently throughout the session. The recap. Here, I think that it shouldn't be provided by you. It should be provided by your learners. So this is a part of that user-generated content. It'll give you an indication if they have gotten out of the session the things that you wanted them to get out of the session, and if there's some muddy points in there. And future tasks. So this one's really important because your session should not be an isolated event. Your session should translate into the reality of your learners' lives. What to do next, what kind of things to tackle on, how to take this information that we have all collaborated on and how to integrate it into our daily lives. How do you do that? So those are important things to incorporate, as well as, what if we are having a next session, what is that session going to be about, what things to think about. The longer a learner has to think about these things before they come to the next session, the more they can think about it on a daily basis and come to your next session with some wonderful insights. So to recap, as is great practice, you want your visual roadmaps to be peppered in between the user-generated content so that when your learners come into your virtual space, they know exactly what they're expected to do, they know what to expect from the session, and they know what to expect from you, and you know what's going on, right? So if you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any of your own experience and comments, make sure you put them in the comments below. And by some magic, apparently 2 other links to videos will show up here, so make sure you click on them if you've missed them. Take care. Bye.